everyone, Ian here. I'm a very successful dividend stock investor. I want to share with you in today's video the secret behind dividend investing. That's right, there is one singular secret that makes me an incredible dividend investor. I have not shared it yet. I'm going to share it in today's video. Now, this secret, it breaks down into 10 different parts, but all of the parts unify around the same secret. So get ready. Really exciting video today. Get ready to be an incredible dividend investor, to take your dividend investing to the next level. All right, everyone. So the secret is this, and you're gonna think this is really out there or crazy, but I'm just going to lay it out there. My secret behind dividend investing is being a really committed, dedicated, long distance runner. And so if you want to be better, I'm serious, at dividend investing, you want to figure out dividend investing, you want to live off of dividends, you want to have a huge portfolio like I do, you want to be successful, you want to be in the game a long time like I have been, the secret is getting up, going out and running. And I'm not talking about running 1 mile or 2 mile. I'm talking about building it up to say 5 miles or even 10 miles or even more. And so that is the secret. And now what I'm going to do in the video today is I'm going to use the analogy. I'm going to use the analogy of running, and I'm going to explain to you 10 lessons, 10 major takeaways that I have learned about dividend investing through running that I believe can only be fully understood through running. And so I'm going to share it through that lens in today's video, and hopefully I'm going to inspire a lot of you out there to start running and to pick that up as a passion, as a hobby, because not only does it have health benefits, but I truly believe that it's the reason I'm such a great dividend investor, and that my dividend investing has gotten even progressively better over time in recent years. And so I want to start with lesson number one, takeaway number one from my long distance running as it pertains to dividend stocks. And so I'll share it on the screen right now, and it goes like this: things don't matter. One of the most fundamental concepts of FIRE, or financial independence, retire early, is if you want to retire early, if you want to have this life where you own your own time, it is awfully difficult to do that when you have an abundance of expensive possessions that you need to buy, that you need to maintain, that you need to finance, that you need to pay for. Now, keep in mind that I am personally pursuing a fat FIRE, which means that I like the finer things in life. And as it pertains to people retiring and living off of dividends, it's going to take me longer because I do have that lifestyle inflation and I have that passion for the good life. That being said, even in my situation, I have to be very careful about things, and I need to make trade-offs between things and money, things and stocks, things and investments. And so what I really learned about this through running goes like this. When you start running, and you start running for a long distance, and you get in the zone and you're kind of out there, you're doing your thing, one of the key lessons that you start learning, and you start learning this pretty much right away, is that in the middle of the running, the only thing that really matters is you and the pavement below your feet. And I'm serious. You start thinking all of the things that you own. You're out there in nature, you're running, you're doing your thing. All these things that you own, whether it be the fancy car or the computer, or say you have a passion for Nike Air Jordans like I do, all of those types of things, they kind of go to the side. They kind of go away. And so when you're running, you start realizing, hey, these things, they actually don't matter. And you start getting in your head at times as well. And you start thinking a little bit more spiritually. You're up in your mind. You're thinking about your running. You're thinking about your health. You're thinking about just strategy and life. And I'll just tell you, when I'm running, it is probably rare. I would say almost never am I thinking about things, material objects, buying this or that. What I'm literally thinking about are really philosophical and spiritual topics. And so the reason I love long distance running is it teaches me these lessons. And the first lesson that is just so foundational for dividend investing and makes dividend investing possible, successful, makes it possible for someone to live fully off of dividend checks, dividend income, is to have this philosophy, both when you're running, but also when you stop running, that, hey, these things don't matter. What's more important are the intangible, if you will. And that's what I love so much about dividend stocks. They're not a thing. It's an intangible. It's intangible. It is a fractional ownership of an actual business, of an actual company that gives the shareholder rights against dividend income, against dividends that are paid to the shareholders. And so, yeah, it's a thing in a sense, but it's more of a concept. It's a intangible thing, if you will. And so when you're running, it's all about the intangible. It's about the spiritual. It's about the connection of the runner and nature. All the other stuff just kind of goes to the side. And the same with successful dividend investing. The things just don't matter. It's about focusing one's life goal on the intangible. And one of the most exciting intangible is ownership in stocks. And so that's lesson number one from being a long distance runner as it pertains to dividend investing. My secret lesson number two that I've learned from my years and years of running, I'm going to share on the screen right now. It goes like this. And so the journey is really, really difficult. And I started really experiencing this again because it's the summertime now. It's the summertime, or it's, I guess, early summertime, and it's hot. There's certain days when it is hot. And so the running journey, the long distance running journey, it is difficult. It is really, really difficult at times. And I'll give you the two examples that are most difficult for me. The most difficult for me is when it's hot out. It's in maybe the 80s or 90s, and I'm running for long distances, say like 5 miles or even 7 miles. And I do this all in the hills, by the way, and I'm trying to pull through in the 90-degree heat. And it just feels painful. It feels excruciating. It feels like I am burning up. I love this. I'll give you another example. When I am running and I'm going for a real long distance and I max out around, say 10 to 12 mile range, that's kind of where I max out. When I'm going for a real long distance like that, and it's the last few miles where my mind, my body, it's just kind of telling me, Ian, you need to start walking. And I just feel so much pain, and I fight it all the way through the end. It's a difficult journey when you're running, but if you can push through it, and it's kind of like mind over matter, and you can separate your mind from your body, it is so satisfying. It is so exciting. And that's the key concept that I learned here. Is it's kind of, again, going back to the first point, sometimes when you're running, you just get in the zone. And yeah, it's difficult at certain times and you feel like you're burning up. But sometimes if I can just listen to the music and I can kind of pull away from my body, just let my body do its thing, do the running, and I have my mind almost in a different world. My mind is zoned off and I'm in a different world thinking about different things like dividend investing or like my videos, like today's video, for example. It is a magical thing, and that's what's so exciting about the journey. And you feel such a sense of accomplishment mastering the journey and figuring out, how do I do this? How do I run in this 90-degree heat? And at certain times when you're running in it, you forget about the heat because your mind is somewhere different from your body. And it is just fascinating how it is possible to do that. And it makes you really respect the journey. And I would say the same thing for dividend investing. Dividend investing is not get rich quick. Dividend investing takes a long time, and it takes a super long time for someone like me going after the fat fire. But even someone going after, say, a more lean fire, if you will, they're trying to maybe do geo arbitrage, move somewhere more economically advantageous and retire really early. Even so, the journey is hard. hard. It's very few people are going to do it in less than 10 years time. And now those 10 years are going to be grueling because there's certain times it's going to be painful. You're foregoing certain luxuries in life. You're foregoing certain things in life where you see other people doing it. You're not doing it. You're taking a different path. And at times, quite frankly, it's painful. It's hard. And at times you start thinking, is it worth it? Is it going to pan out? Am I going to get to my destination? Am I going to have what it takes? It's like the running in those last 2 miles. Do I have what it takes to power through these miles? Am I going to start walking? What am I going to do? And this is what's so exciting about dividend investing is it's in the pain, it's in the journey that comes the satisfaction. And so if you want to be a successful dividend investor, I really do think taking up running as a sport, long distance running, is very wise because it teaches you these lessons. And if you cannot tolerate the pain, if you cannot tolerate the endurance that is required, I don't want to break negative news out there, but it is going to be very difficult to be a successful dividend investor because it is not get rich quick. It is not easy. It is very difficult. But if you can find joy, you can find joy in that difficulty like I do in the running, just pure joy in a tough situation. Man, is it rewarding. It is so rewarding. And I love the journey that comes with dividend investing. And so that is lesson 2 that comes out of this overall theme of running and how it pertains to dividends. And so I want to move now into lesson 3. I'm going to share that on the screen with you right now. This is the third lesson, the third insight that I have learned about dividends from my passion for running. And so this one goes like this. You want to learn to face setbacks. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be setbacks in running. There's going to be setbacks in dividend investing. Dividend investing, just like running, it is a marathon. It is a long-term proposition to get from the beginning to the end. And so along this journey, there's going to be a ton of setbacks. I'll just tell you with running, for example, I like running in the summer because I like facing the pain that the hot weather brings on me. But sometimes, quite frankly, I can't run as far. I just not running as far in the summer. And I compensate for that sometimes by running more frequently, but in shorter distances. Or sometimes when I'm running, I just got to listen to my body because I don't want to face injury. And so if my knee, it's feeling just a little bit weird, I have learned the hard way not to push it. Don't push through that injury. Maybe take it easy, or even if the knee is feeling weird, man, just stop and walk back. And it is so frustrating. It is such a setback. Another one is when you get sick. Sometimes, you get sick and you recover from your illness, and then you try to pick up running again. You try to start again. And after an illness, I always found that I'm running kind of half of where I was before the illness, and it's hard. It's mentally difficult. That you feel like you lost out, like you lost your progress, you lost your hard work. But each time you eventually get through it, and it may not come in 1 week's time. It may not come in 2 weeks' time. It may take a month. It may take several months to get back just to where you were before. And so running has taught me to learn that these setbacks come with the sport. These setbacks happen, and it's the joy of the running. It's the joy of rebuilding. It's the joy of realizing that, hey, it's not just linear up and to the right. There's going to be setbacks along the way. And obviously, dividend investing is the same thing. You may own dividend stocks that in this market, especially, that face a dividend cut. Energy companies, for example. You may face dividend stocks where you buy something and you regret buying it. It's just not the right thing. Maybe you were listening to someone online and they were recommending something. You didn't really do your research. You bought it anyway and then it tanked. Or maybe you just bought something before you knew what you were doing fully and you made a mistake. You faced a setback. You lose money. What I have found is these setbacks, they are learning opportunities. They are lessons. I've made every mistake in the book as not only a dividend investor, but as an investor. I've tried pretty much all of the different forms of investing. I've faced a lot of setbacks over the years, and I learned from all of them. And I've shared many, if not most, of my mistakes here on this channel for the community to benefit. But this is key. In running, there are a lot of setbacks. There's a lot of setbacks. And for me, especially as someone that just keeps trying to build, I try to build how quickly I run. I try to build how far I run. I try to build upon the type of terrain in which I can run, more and more hills, steeper hills. And I kind of look at it as if I'm not moving forward, I'm moving backward. But unfortunately, the setbacks come with the territory, and the sport has taught me to better deal with those setbacks, which in turn has quite frankly made me a better dividend investor. Because dividend investing, the most important thing, we talk about this on YouTube so much. Are you picking the right stocks? Are you buying individual stocks or ETFs? Are you in a retirement account or an individual account? Quite frankly, none of that matters. I mean, it does matter, but what matters more is getting in the game, staying in the game, staying committed to a strategy. Whatever the strategy is, staying committed. And when the strategy breaks down, when you face a setback, when you face a terrible experience, it is not letting that dissuade you from the practice of investing in dividends, but you stay committed. You stay committed to the strategy. That is so key. And so that's lesson 3 as it pertains to dividends that I learned from running. So I want to share with you now the 4th lesson. I'm going to share that on the screen right now. And the 4th lesson, I love this one. Everyone has to start somewhere. I got a tweet the other day, and I love this one. The gentleman said, Ian, I'm so excited. I got my first penny of dividend income, just 1 penny. But he said, you know what? I now feel like I'm part of the community. It is a line in the sand. I'm part of the community. I'm part of dividends. And this is kind of my inauguration of dividend investing. And I responded to the tweet. I was really excited. I wish the gentleman well on his journey. And this is the thing. He's starting with 1 penny. But that 1 penny, it is a line in the sand. That 1 penny, it is a starting point. And same with running, quite frankly. When I started, I've been running on and off my whole life. When I was in high school, I was in the cross-country team. But there was a period in my life, not so long ago, quite frankly, where I was overweight. I was in not the best health. I was working really long hours till like 3 a.m. every night. I had a difficult situation that I was in employment-wise. It was lucrative, but it was difficult. It was too difficult. It was not the type of lifestyle, if you will, that I wanted to pursue. And so I was up at like 220 pounds or something like that. I did a whole video on this. I'll link to it in the description below, but I basically lost 40 pounds since that time. And part of it was not only related just, hey, I'm overweight, I want to lose weight, but it was also related to acid reflux and some challenges I've had with that over the years. And anyways, I had to start somewhere. I was starting somewhere, and now people sometimes look and they're like, yeah, of course you're a runner. You're thin and you're in good shape, this and that. But it was not always that way. I had to start somewhere. And when I started kind of really on the journey and getting to the runner that I am now from back then, I'll tell you back then, and I'll get to this later, I did do some running, but sometimes I ended up just getting hurt or worse. We'll talk about this later. But the point is, everyone has to start somewhere. And I had to start somewhere with running. I had to start somewhere with dividends. I was just fortunate enough to start a long, long time ago. Back in my high school years. And so I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I would be a lot further along now than I am if I had not made those mistakes. But I also like the mistakes because it makes me a better investor and allows me to share all those mistakes with you guys as well. But anyways, I did have to start somewhere. I had to start somewhere with dividends and also with running. And so I love sharing this weight loss story and the health related stuff story because it sheds light that just what you see of me now is not where I have always been. And running is a sport. And this is why I'm suggesting a lot of people here, they're like, but hey, I could never do it. I could never be a runner. A lot of you would look at me back when I was in that job and I was overweight, and you'd look at that guy and you'd say, hey, he could never be a great runner. He could never be a solid runner and do a half marathon successfully in under 2 hours. And I did it, though. I built up to it. And so the key point here is you see a lot of people online, you see a lot of YouTubers, or you even see people like myself who are a bit further along in the journey than you. Mind you, there's people in the community here who are further along in the journey than I am. I get comments all the time, hey, I'm already retired, I'm already living off of dividends. I love those comments. Those are my heroes. Shout out if you're already living off of dividends. Please share in the comments below. You're my heroes. And so, we're all at different places in our journey. That's where we are. But the key is not getting discouraged and realizing everyone has to start somewhere, and I did it too. All right, so lesson number 5, as it pertains to dividend stocks that I've learned through my immense passion and love and joy of long distance running, goes like this. I'm going to share it on the screen right now. And it's basically, I love this one. You don't, and it kind of ties into the last one, don't try to go too big. So many people, when they start dividend investing, they just do silly stuff, like buy these stocks that have like these mortgage REITs, for example. No offense if you own a mortgage REIT, but mortgage REITs, and they have these huge dividend yields, and they're never reliable, and all these yield traps, this and that. You don't want to go from 0 to 100 with running or with dividend investing. Now, I'll give you an example. Back when I wasn't as healthy as I am now, I participated in a half marathon, and I participated in a half marathon without proper training. I did that after the half marathon. My body was kind of like breaking down. I was dehydrated. I was getting very scared of the experience I was having, being dehydrated, just feeling immense kind of headache, nausea, chills, all that kind of stuff. The room was spinning. It wasn't good. And the reason I got to that state is because I ran a half marathon without first building up to it, without first really practicing, putting in the miles, putting in some of the shorter races, if you will, and also getting my body more lean, because my body in the state that it was in was not ready to run a half marathon. I was carrying more weight than I should have been, and I believe it was literally hurting me. It was hurting me in the half marathon, and quite frankly, after that half marathon, I ended up in the ER. That's where I ended up, and I needed to get, what do they call it? Those, the drip, the IV drip to rehydrate myself. And so that was a scary experience, but I don't, it was obviously a mistake. You don't want to get yourself into those kind of situations, but in hindsight, looking back, it was a learning lesson. And the learning lesson is don't go from 0 to 100. Don't jump into something too much. Build up to it. Build up to it. It's okay to pace yourself, if you will. And same with dividend investing. If you're new to dividend stocks, I see this mistake so many times. People have, say, $5,000 to deploy. They just put it all in. And not only do they put it all in, they chase the yield. They go for these stocks that are just risky. They're not good. They don't have good fundamentals. And so the key here is just like with running, don't go from 0 to 100. Build up. Dividend stocks build up. Why not dollar cost average? Why not just buy stocks that have lower dividend yields, but the yields are safe and the yields are growing over time? So many people think that they can cut the line. They can fast track their way to success. They can fast track their way to early retirement. It doesn't work that way. You have to put in the miles. You have to put in the hard work. Dividend investing, same thing. It is get rich slowly. It is get rich painfully, but you have to relish in the experience, and you have to realize that perspective. And running, honestly, it taught me a lot of that perspective. So I want to move on to lesson number 6 that I picked up from running that greatly influences my dividend investing. And so I'm going to share it on the screen. Number 6 with all of you all right now. Check it out. And lesson 6 goes like this. I like this one. Pay attention to the details. And so when you are running, I'll tell you, I don't face the injuries these days that I used to. I don't face as much challenge as I do. And I pay attention to the details. The types of details I pay attention to are this. I stretch like crazy. I went running today. ran about 7 miles. When I was done, I stretched for about 20 minutes, and I stretch serious stretching. It's sometimes painful stretching, but you gotta do it, because if you don't stretch, that's when I face injury. That's when the next time I'm running, I face injury. On my off days, I try to do the push-ups, lunges, squats, all that good stuff, build up the muscles, do that kind of work, those lunges that will help me greatly when I'm actually running. I try to hydrate myself incredibly well. I try to eat healthy, stay lean, because I know if my body is lean, it's going to be easier for me to run. The more weight I'm carrying, the more stress it's going to put on the joints, and the quicker my knee is going to get injured. And so I pay attention to the details, and these details, it's not even part of the running, it's all the ancillary stuff. Same thing with dividend investing. You've picked this up by now, but I'm a fundamental dividend stock analyst. I do a lot of spreadsheets, I do a lot of record keeping, I do a lot of journaling, I do these videos, I do a lot of details. And there's a lot of people that think, hey, I don't need to do the details. I'm just going to buy the stock because I like it. I like the idea of owning this stock, but I haven't fully researched it. The problem with that is dividend investing is so long-term that the details matter. The fundamental analysis matters. The record keeping matters. The journaling matters. It all kind of comes together. And if you don't do the details, the big stuff, it's not going to work its way out, in my humble opinion. And that's why I try to do the details here on the channel. I try to impart that knowledge to the community, because I think so many investors, they don't put in the time, they don't put in the details. And I'm trying to show you all here the difference that those details make. And they make a difference in running, they make a difference in dividends. So let's do it. Lesson number 7. I'm going to share it on the screen right now. The 7th lesson that I've learned from running that greatly influences my ability to be successful with dividend stocks. So this is an individual race. I love this one. We are all so different. And so when I love this, by the way, and I'm going to share this also in another lesson in this video, but I'm going to share it now. When I go to these, and it's so sad with the pandemic, we don't have these races anymore, but I can't wait till we have them again, because when you go to the race, it brings together, like these events, 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, it brings together a lot of people. And the community is amazing, by the way. I'll get to that in a future point. But you also realize when you get there, it's an individual sport. Look, everyone is competing against themselves. Everyone is competing against a different goal. I mean, some people they're trying to compete the half marathon for the first time. Other people are trying to hit a certain time on the half marathon. Other people are trying to do it, hey, I want to finish without walking. Everyone has a different goal. And everyone goes about running just a different way. I mean, some people are short distance runners. Some people are long distance runners. When you go to these events, sometimes they have 5K and 10K at the same event. And so the key here, and this is so important, not only in dividend investing, but in life, but especially dividend investing, is be careful about comparing yourself to other people. Everyone has a different situation. Some people are married with kids, like myself. Other people are single. And some people live in expensive area like the Bay Area or New York. Other people live in a more affordable area. Some people want fancy stuff. Other people don't want the fancy stuff. Some different people want different things out of life. Some people want to retire really early. Other people are okay waiting a little bit later in life. I'm okay waiting a little bit later. Not everyone would be willing to put up with what I put up with day in and day out. I've been working at the pace I'm working at now pretty much my whole life. I don't know how long it's sustainable. Not everyone wants that. And so the key here, ask yourself what's right for you. And it's so hard on YouTube. It's hard on YouTube because you see a lot of people, and my channel is one example, and you see what they're doing and you think, that's the way, or because Ian has those goals, those are the right goals, but that's not it. That's not it. And so you need to go home and ask yourself, just as you would as a runner. If you're a runner, what are you trying to do? You're competing against yourself. You're trying to hit a personal best. You're trying to set a personal record. I'll tell you, when I'm running, the types of things I usually honestly, the biggest thing I try to go for is distance. I'm always challenging myself. Can I hit a new record in terms of distance? And I try to do it with constraints. Like, can I hit a new record distance, but do that when it's 90 degrees out and I feel like I'm just burning up. I try those types of goals. But with investing, what do you want? What do you want? This is your life. And so this is the thing. Seriously, this is your life. You have to remind yourself of this. I'm serious. This is so important. Don't live my life. Don't live someone else's life you see online. Have an honest conversation with yourself. Maybe do it while you are running, because that's when it's I think the best. And I have epiphanies. I come up with great ideas. What do you want? Once you know that, your dividend investing strategy will accommodate it. You'll find the right strategy, and you'll find the best strategy to get where you're going, where you need to go. But everyone's strategy is going to be different. Everyone's race is different. Don't compare yourself to other people at all. It is, in my opinion, one of the worst things you could do as a dividend investor, or as a runner, quite frankly, unless you are a professional runner, and that is, you're professionally competing. Fine, I understand the need to compare there, but another way of looking at this, quite frankly, is we can all win. And as a community, as dividend investors, we can all win because we are all running individual races. It's an individual sport. So remember, this is about you. This is about your individual situation. All right, everyone. And so I want to move on. Lesson number 8. I'm going to share with you now the 8th lesson that I have learned being a long distance runner that has taught me great things about dividend investing as well. So I'll share it on the screen. Number 8 is there is a community, and it will help us support your efforts. And so here's something I want to share. I really like this. When you go to these races, when you're running that I just talked about, you see and you feel the energy, and you are around some of the greatest people on the planet. These are good people. These are people of all ages, all colors, all religions, all everything. It is the most diverse group of people you will ever see. They all come around a common sport of running, and they are very positive people, supportive people, good people. It's a good community. And I'll tell you something else. In the last half marathon that I ran, gosh, I wish they'd have these again. One of the truly valuable things to me is the local running club had different people from the club run the half marathon at different paces. So you literally had someone running it at 1.5 hours. You had someone running it at 1 hour, 40 minutes, 1 hour, 50, 2 hours, 2:15, different intervals they picked. I don't remember what they are. But what helped me is I knew I want to run this half marathon in less than 2 hours. That was my goal. And so because I knew there was someone from the running club who was literally pacing at 2 hours, I knew I just got to stay a little bit ahead of him. If I see him, I better go faster, because he paced it for me. He literally paced it for me. And it was also the camaraderie of knowing that there were a bunch of people pacing with him to reach their goal as a community. And so running, yeah, in the last point, it's all about the individual side of thing, but there's the nuance of that is even in an individual sport, which dividend investing is, there often will be a community that can help support what you're doing, but you have to find the right community. Like in the race, my community was the 2-hour people. It wasn't the hour and 30-minute people, but there are other people in the hour and 30-minute band who found their tribe. And so the key here is, you're a dividend investor. You're in this sport alone, but it doesn't have to be alone. There is a community out there, and that's why PPC Ian is dividend investing for everyone. And in my opinion, the community here is one of the best things, if not the best thing about this channel. I love all of you. Thank you for subscribing, commenting, being part of the community. I love you all. And so the key though is find the right tribe. Maybe for you as a dividend investor, PPCE and it doesn't resonate with you, but one of the other YouTubers does. There's a lot of good YouTube channels about dividend investing, and there appear to be more and more of them popping up all the time. This is a very popular sport, just like running. And so you got to find the community or the communities, the tribes that align with you, that can help support you along the way. You don't want to lose sight that it's an individual sport, but you also do want to be kind of engaged in a community. And that's why, quite frankly, once this pandemic passes, I am going all out on the meetups. Oh man, it's been a while since we've had the meetups. It's so sad because we were on such a good hot streak. We were having these meetups like every month, and they were so much fun. I do it because I love the community. It's the greatest part of the channel, and meeting you guys in person is the greatest. And so anyways, I do have aspirations once it's safe to do so, the pandemic has passed, and we can safely meet up at Starbucks again, we will do so. And so that is lesson number 8 that I've learned from running, as that has improved greatly my dividend investing. So let's move on. Lesson 9. This is the 9th one. I'm going to share it on the screen with you right now. And it goes like this. This is a key one, quite frankly. This is a key one. It goes like this. Momentum is everything. I'll tell you, even with today's experience, I knew I was going to go running today. But I wasn't, these days, like if I know I'm going to go running, I'm going to go. But it was a little difficult. Sometimes when you're a runner and you just start out, you don't feel quite right. I'll tell you, my knee was feeling a little weird in the run today. And when I started out, it didn't feel quite right. And I was kind of worried about injury a little bit. And so in the first few miles, I took it easy and it didn't feel so good, but I was just being very aware of what was going on, because I knew if it got to a certain point, it's at that point where it's like, hey, I'm cutting my losses, I'm turning around and walking back. But it didn't get there. Thankfully, I built up the momentum, and the momentum turned into a great run, and I had an awesome run today, freaking awesome run. And so the key, though, is it's the momentum. It's the first step, the second step, the third step. And so people ask me, Ian, why are you buying Starbucks all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down? I buy it every Monday, rain or shine. The reason I do this is I need that momentum. The dividend investing, it is just like the running. If I'm out of the game, I'm out of the game. And if you're out of the game, it's a lot harder to build back your momentum. And so I have momentum with running a few ways. It's the frequency. I try to run a few times a week, and again in the off days I do what I can to do things that will assist my running, like the lunges. I did yesterday 80 walking lunges in a row, and then I did another 40 after that. I'm getting really good at it. It was just a matter of months ago where I could only do, say, 40 or 50 in a row. Now I can do 80 in a row, and honestly I could have pushed 100 in a row or more. And this is walking up and down on a hill doing the lunges, and so it assists it. But it's a momentum. It's all. If I don't keep that momentum, I'm out of the game. And if I'm out of the game, what do I have? That's the key as well. Again, going back to the earlier points, it's the journey. It's just something about the running. There's something about the dividend investing that, yeah, it'll be nice to reach the goal. Well, running there never is the goal. It's just it's always the journey. But I guess dividend investing, the goal is when my dividends pay for all my bills. But honestly, the journey there will never end as well, because it's multi-generational. I'll always be thinking about the future. And so that's the key. If I don't have the momentum, I'm out of the game. If I'm out of the game, what do I have? What do I have? And so this is so key. So many people, they're like, oh, I'm waiting for stocks to crash. How has that worked out for you? So many people say online, oh, I picked the bottom perfectly. I'm sure some people did, and look, I did. The proof is in my channel. I had some good fortune earlier this year, and I did go heavy when stocks were tanking. I got some good bargains, great bargains, and I went heavy. I was buying almost every day. But I'm still buying now. I'm still buying now in this overvalued market as well. I can't time the market, and I need to keep my momentum. And so So many people miss this. They're scared to average up. Look, I'm just sharing my personal strategy here. This isn't advice. Maybe it works for me is all I'm saying. And so this is an insight that resonates between the running and dividend investing. And so it's all about that momentum. Key, so key. All right, I'm going to close out today with number 10, the 10th lesson that I've learned being a runner about dividend investing and how these two practices collide so beautifully. Check it out. I'll share it on the screen. Lesson number 10. And this is another great one. There is more than one right answer. I think that dividend investors so many times, they nitpick this stuff online, and it honestly, at a certain point, it gets a little ridiculous. And I'm at fault of that because, like I said earlier, I'm a fundamental dividend stock analysis. I get into the weeds, and I see benefit in that. But at the same time, there's more than one right way. Some people dividend invest in individual stocks, like me. Some people do it in ETFs. Some people do it in the S&P 500 index fund. Some people are in retirement accounts. Some people are individual accounts. Some people like smaller cap stocks as in addition to mid and large. Some people only buy the big mega cap stocks. Some people are more into the dividend growth stocks. Some people are more into the current kind of high yielders, such as utility stocks, but high yield but slower growth. There is no one right answer, and so many people are obsessed. Am I beating you? Am I beating this guy? Am I beating the index? Am I doing better? It doesn't matter, because the difference between not investing and investing, that's winning. Going from not investing to successfully investing, picking a strategy, sticking with it, having dedication to it, not giving up, facing setbacks, being able to come back from the setbacks, that is winning. Whether someone is in ETFs and, it's performing a little differently than Ian's 46 individual stocks, one's beating the other, that is not winning. Both of us are winning. Both of us are winning because we both have strategies that work for us, that are dividend focused, that we're committed to, that give us momentum, that give us joy, that get us to our dreams, to our dream state. And so the key here is with running. Some people like to run in the morning. Some people like to run at lunch, like myself. Some people run short distances. Some people run longer. Some people run every day. Some people run a few days a week, but go for longer distance. Some people are going for distance, for speed. There is no one right answer. We're all runners, and we all win from running. And so the key here is find what works for you. Find the way that works for you. And don't worry whether you're outperforming me, I'm outperforming you. We are both winners. And so I'll tell you, some people like fewer stocks. Some people like more stocks. People tell me all the time, Ian, you have too many stocks. Who cares? It works for me. It gets me investing. My performance is diluted because I have too many stocks. Doesn't matter. I'm already winning because I'm doing it. I'm doing the dividend investing, and I'm in the high quality stocks. And so find what works for you. And I want to share a bonus right now as well. Don't go with what you're told. I'm saying certain things here. I'm adding the disclaimer. I'm just sharing my journey. What I do, I don't want it to bias people out there. I want everyone to find that what works for them, the strategy that works for them. And don't be biased by other people online. There are so much content these days about dividend investing, and so much of it is wonderful. The one critique I would have that I believe is behind the renaissance, if you will, it almost feels like dividends are the acai berry, if you will, of 2020, is it must just be a category that is lucrative online. And so you have folks sharing affiliate links, this and that. And so just be careful when you pick your strategy. And I'm not saying affiliate links are bad. A lot of people use them and they use them in the right way. But what I'm saying is understand where you're consuming your information. Understand that people delivering information may have bias. Just like me, I might have bias. I have my own agenda. And my own agenda is to build this community to... I do make some money off of ads, and eventually I'll have my book ready and I sell my merch. And so it's impossible to say I'm completely unbiased. I think I'm less biased than many others because I'm not doing certain things with affiliate links. But the key here is to don't let someone else make up your mind. Don't let someone else make up your mind because other people are living their life. Other people might have a reason they're doing certain things, even beyond the dividend investing as it pertains to earning income online. And there are many ways to accomplish the same goal, and they are all valid. We can all be winners. And so keep it in mind, just like with running. Many different ways to get into running, to be successful at running, to progress in running, and we're all winners as runners. And so that's the secret. I think this secret is going to surprise a lot of you. What does running have to do with dividend stocks? I would say a whole lot. And even if you're one of these people that says, I hate running, I've never thought about running, I would never run, I don't like it, I'm not a runner, I'm not built to be a runner. No. Everyone is built to be a runner, in my humble opinion, and it all starts with the first step. The first step goes to the second step, to the third step, so on and so forth. I love you all. In terms of full disclosure, I am long Starbucks, ticker symbol SBUX. In terms of a friendly disclaimer, I am not a licensed investment advisor. Today's video is not investment advice. Today's video is just for your fun and entertainment. If you're going to go out and invest in dividend stocks or any kind of stocks, anything else, please consult a licensed financial advisor first. Just sharing my journey here on YouTube for fun and entertainment. Investing in the stock market carries huge risk, huge opportunity to lose capital. I may be wrong. There may be things I shared that are inaccurate. And so proceed with caution, everyone. I love you all. If you enjoyed the video today, please consider subscribing to my channel. It is the best way you can thank me. Please check out my social media as well. Share it word of mouth. Share the channel with your friends and family if you found it helpful. Best way you can thank me. I love you all. I'll see you in the next dividend investing video.